Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Kickball Podcast. I feel like it's been a while since we've gotten a player back on the episode, right where we first started, but Trace Terry of Bowling Green State University, Toledo Villa FC. Thank you so much for joining us, man. How you doing?
I'm great. It's a pleasure to be on here. I'm excited. It's been
Perfect.
a while.
I know, right? I feel like we've been watching you for every so often. Like you're always a name that comes up, like at least in the Missouri Valley Conference with Bowling Green State. Like you've been one of those dudes, like one of the staples of college soccer, like since we've been around, and it's a pleasure to have you on, man.
Yeah, I know we connected sometime in the fall, and it was a busy time, but I'm glad
Right.
to finally make it.
No, yeah, this is sick. So tell me about, you know, I mean, I know you're a Bellbrook, Ohio kid. I mean, you
Yeah,
spend time between Bowling Green and Toledo. Like you're an Ohio dude through and through.
right.
And we'll get into some of the successes that you've had, both at the college level, the youth level, but then, I mean, also potentially what's to come with the pro division. But tell us a little bit about what it's like with Toledo Villa right now.
Yeah, so after my freshman year at Bowling Green, I actually planned on playing at the Dane Dutch Lions my first summer, and after talking with my coach, I feel like it was right for me to stay up here because one, I get to use all the BG facilities, and like I'm just up here, and it's my environment almost. It feels like my home now, to be honest. And obviously, Villa's been great. The coaching staff treats me so well, and obviously, you get to meet new players every summer, so it's exciting, and I'm excited for this summer to hopefully go well.
Yeah, it's huge. And I know I was looking over at a few of I always like doing a little bit of research that I can, with everything else, like studying you and everything else. And I saw a lot you do a lot of post-game interviews, whether it's with
Yeah.
Bowling Green State or with news outlets. Like I know you had one about a week ago against Steel City, but it was nice to go ahead
Mhm.
and get that kind of win. I mean, just being able to win in a different environment. I mean, is it, I know you're not too far away from Bowling Green yourself, but is it just different winning in the summer versus the fall or whatever else? I mean, I know you're just a competitor. Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, as you said, I love to win, and I would say a good amount of the BG fans actually sometimes make it up to the Villa games, which is cool because I can connect with them and I actually get to know them pretty well.
So,
But yeah, just the Villa games are different. It's a different field. But obviously the broadcasters there, they're awesome, and the fan base is it's different. It's almost like a pro level
interesting.
environment. But yeah, I love it. It's awesome.
So, I mean, I talk with Shafe pretty frequently.
Yeah,
And he tells me a lot about Schaefer soccer and
yeah.
Andrew, the whole we both know
Oh,
him. Like,
still.
yeah, right. Yeah. Um, and he tells me that between Bowling Green State and Toledo Villa, like these are the two teams really for this Toledo area. And for
Yeah,
someone that's really, it's a sizable metropolitan area, but for the soccer that is down to a USL2 club and a college program, like it really does a lot for the community that you guys have. And I'd love to ask you a little bit about this though later too. I was planning on asking you about this later, but I think, do you feel, I mean, how much really is the community ingrained in this area? If you were to tell it to someone like myself, where New York City's my backyard, and I really don't get a full sense of what it's like for you guys out there.
yeah. So obviously for Bowling Green, our major thing is connecting with the community, and we run all these camps and yeah, all of that. And then for Villa, it's almost the same. Like we kind of do almost the same things, but for Bowling Green, it's we just do it so much, and we really dive into it. And honestly, I have a great time doing all these camps, connecting with all the fans, and it's honestly helped me as a person and like just mature a lot more. And I continue to do it until I'm gone, and I will always come back here and do it again.
That's fantastic, bro. That's like, I mean, you just feel like the fact that you're gonna be a dude who's gonna, and I'm like, I'm going on and on about this, but like the fact that you're going to be at that professional level, it also just furthers what these younger kids are going to be seeing, and they've known you from just being around the area, being willing to help out, being willing to coach, and be someone who these young kids can look up to. It's something that's
Yeah,
really admirable, man.
it's awesome. It's awesome.
So, I mean, tell me a little bit about your youth soccer journey, where you came from. I like I mentioned before, you're a Bellbrook kid, but I know it's a little bit of ways away from where you are with Bowling Green. But I mean, and before I get too far into rambling on
Right.
about it, but I mean, however long or short that the story is, I want to hear all of it. I'll
Yeah.
I'll leave you to it to tell us about your youth journey.
Yeah, so obviously I'm from Bellbrook and it's in Dayton, Ohio. I don't know if a lot of people know what that is, but it's 2 hours south of here. So obviously at when I was younger I played at the Bellbrook rec leagues, and
Right.
then once I got old enough I started to play for Dane Dutch Lions. They had like a youth program. I don't know how well it's doing anymore, but back then I think it was some US. I think it might have been USL1. They had a pro team there, and they built their like academies off that, and that's where I started. And I actually got some great coaches that helped me who I am. And then after that, I joined Celtics, which is based out in Beaver Creek, Ohio, which is right next to Bellbrook. And then after that, I went to a brand new club by my personal trainer back then. He was a huge part in helping me get better. His name was Tommy Spikers. He ran Player Development Soccer Academy, and that's where I did all the personal trainings and all that stuff. And then that's what led me to go play for the Columbus Crew Academy for a year through sixth through seventh grade, I believe it was. And then I decided to come back home, play for Ohio Galaxies, which is where I got recruited from BG. Um, I went to a regional tournament in St. Louis and performed pretty well, and yeah, they got to see me there, and it's history from there.
Huge. Like, so what were those kinds of conversations like? I mean, when did you realize that the college soccer game or was the area that you really want to specialize in, and specifically Bowling Green? I mean, I hear, I mean, I talk with Gonzalo a lot now too.
Yeah,
He's just a coach over there. Great dude.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
awesome.
and I know he wasn't the dude to recruit you. I know he's a new addition to the staff, but he
Yeah,
gives me a little bit of, what the environment looks like between Shafe and everything else. Like I have a vision of it, but when did Bowling Green State feel right to you?
yeah. So Sean Teepin, he used to coach here. He's the one that texted me after one of my games and regionals, and he invited me to go to one of their camps,
Hmm.
which was about a week after regionals, maybe 2 weeks. And I got here, I got to spend a couple of days here in BG. And to be honest, I didn't even know Bowling Green had a soccer team, and which was awesome because I mean I didn't know where I was gonna land when I was like doing the whole recruiting process. I was emailing just tons of D3, D2, Division 1 coaches just to see what I could get, and they were the one of the first ones to reach out to me. And when I went to the camp, they were just so welcoming and so professional at the same time. And honestly, meeting the guys on the team because they worked the camp was like a big part to me because they're like Bowling Green's team culture is, I would say, the top in Division 1. Um, Great guys, great alumni. Talk to them still to this day, but yeah, after the camp, I had a meeting with Coach Nichols. My dad was also here, and one of the things that he said that really stuck with me was he said, "When's good enough?" And I felt like that just sunk with me because I went to all of these other schools like for camps and everything, and I just felt like these guys really wanted me and they wanted to make me progress in the game. And obviously I made one of the best decisions of my life coming here. I mean, I get better and better every year and become a better person as well.
I think that's a huge part of it though too, because I've gotten to I've been fortunate enough to be able to have a relationship similar to Coach Gonzalo, excuse me, but I mean other guys even across the country, and um I think what a lot of coaches want to get at is making their boys better men,
Yeah.
and getting to that point where you guys, I mean, we're to a point now where you being able to volunteer, but to service your time, at least for these younger guys that are around the area for coaching, is not really a second thought for you. And it like you mentioned, it's something that you've seen yourself be able to grow to become a better man or a better, off the field person. But I think coaching is definitely something that will for sure, you know, always be centered around trying to get the best out of their guys. And I'm glad that that's something that you've seen in Bowling Green. Like,
Oh yeah.
so now, do you see that kind of thing over time, or is it something that you just get those little pieces of advice and it changes the perspective that you have? I mean, what do you think about that? How do you really see
Yeah, I
yourself?
mean, after like they offered me, I didn't know what my plan was. I wanted to wait a little bit, see what I could get, just because that was like one of my first Division 1 offers. But it was during the COVID time, so it was weird and all messed up. But once like after I left that meeting with them, I just felt like I had their trust, and like I just felt like it was like the perfect match for me to go there. And like as soon as I got here, I know I was a freshman. I was a little nervous and scared, and to be honest, a little homesick. But like once I grew into it, like I just don't want to leave here. Like it's just awesome. I love it.
So there's obviously the home feeling that you end up getting at least over time, but tell me a little bit about working your way really into becoming a key piece of this lineup. I mean, we've seen you become the goal scorer of 12 goals this past season and someone who like is Mr. Clutch a lot of
Yeah.
the time for Bowling Green State. But that's another thing that just doesn't happen overnight. Tell me about working your way through the practices and gaining the trust of the staff to where you could be, Mr. Goal Scorer for this squad.
Yeah. So I mean, my biggest advice to players upcoming is being very coachable. No matter who your coach is, if you don't agree with what he's saying, you got to play the game almost, but you also got to trust what your coach is saying because he's been in the game long enough. And so yeah, as a freshman, I just worked hard, listened to my leaders and seniors and coaches, obviously, and I got my time. Like I got a good amount of minutes my freshman year, and I just made the most out of I could with it. And then as time came on, it was my turn to step up, and yeah, I stepped up.
Huge and in big ways too. I mean, multiple times the offensive player of the week for the conference or coming up with a great cross to try to set up a service. And there's just so many things that don't get put on the stat sheet so much. I mean, it helps that we're able to really see these goal numbers for yourself and shots on target, how you've become a great shot taker, an accurate shot taker as well. But one thing that you really can't get so much of a statistic on is your on-ball ability. Where did
Mhm.
this become such a big part of your own strength? Like even not only on ball ability, but you have a chance. You also have a bit of a defensive flair to yourself, and what I mean by that
Yeah.
is just that there's no hesitation for you to go ahead and track back on a ball. Um, why those particular characteristics for yourself to make those strengths of your game?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, talked to my coach a lot being here, and one of the things that we talked about a lot was understanding my build as a player because I'm a tall, lengthy guy, and I feel like a big thing for a build like me is being able to hold the ball, and that was something I honestly struggled with coming in, and I honestly didn't think it was a big part of my game. I thought I was just supposed to be in front of the net and be ready to score, but
Mm,
getting a hold of the ball was something I had to learn, and honestly, it's not as easy as it looks.
right.
But yeah, I mean that was a big thing to learn, and honestly, this past year, my big thing was just getting in the box, because I'm tall guy. I mean, good in the air, so like
Right.
that's just my home. That's my habitat. That's where I want to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, and obviously I got the guys on the field that are serving balls in, and yeah,
Like I know, I mean, we was talking about Shafe, but Bennett Painter's another guy that's
yeah,
been a huge contact for you. I mean, tell me,
hmm
like, if and I know there's a lot of guys that are making out this team, and I even feel weird just saying out a few names, just even by saying that, because there's so many guys that really make up this successful of a squad. But
yeah.
I mean, how much does a great team really help out your own job, and how do you try to play off of other guys to just create successful opportunities?
It's everything, honestly. I mean, I wouldn't be able to get, drafted if it wasn't for my teammates. And it's just, I no matter what players we have, I just want to build the best team culture ever because, that's what makes team chemistry good. And, it's fun competing with this group of guys, especially last fall.
So tell me about there's a couple things. So firstly, better. I like to think, but I'm not going to be the one to tell you how to receive a compliment. But congratulations on getting drafted. It's about
I
6 months
appreciate
late,
it.
but congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Of course, like, and I feel like I know a bit of the answer to this question too, but does that change a perspective of the way that you're going into the senior year? And what I mean by that is, I've talked to some guys where it's almost a weight lifted off their shoulders, where they know that they've got an MLS team in their back pocket, that they know there's going to give them some opportunity at the end of a season. But then I've also talked to other players that say, look, my time right now is to just commit to college and commit to being the best player that I can be. Like, where are you coming at from this angle? What is it like, in Trace Terry's shoes?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm still in college,
Mhm.
and that's what I'm focusing on. But the biggest thing, I want to get some hardware for this school. I want to win a ring, I want to win trophies, and I think if I focus on all that, everything else will fall into place. And I think once my time's up here at VG, I'll be ready to go to Seattle.
Huge. And now, I mean, another thing I want to talk about though too is just it sounds like from what I'm at least having this conversation with you about is just that you've taken on a and I don't want to say it's self-imposed or something that other people brought onto you or how it came up, but you've obviously taken on a leadership role within this organization, within this program, and it's something that you hold very dear to yourself. Now, how do you go about being the best leader that you can be? And what are you telling to maybe some of the younger guys who were in your shoes 3 years ago, trying to figure out their way around the college game, around the campus, maybe you're feeling a little bit of homesickness. Like what is your role as a leader entail for those guys, but also the juniors who, have been here for a few years, or really just all kinds of profiles that you'll see coming into this 2025 campaign.
Yeah, so like I'm gonna be a captain this upcoming fall, and
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. And then, so pretty much, I mean, I'm a different leader, I would say. I'm not very a vocal leader. I won't say the most motivational things. But one thing I will do is I'll just show my work ethic, especially on the field. Like, I'm the top guy on the field, and all of it, like, it starts from, pressing the ball when they have a goal kick or something. And once, like, my teammates see me going hard, I hope it motivates everyone else to go hard. And when it comes to outside of soccer, I just want everyone to feel comfortable and enjoy their time because I remember a senior telling me when I was a freshman, your time goes by fast, and it's so true.
And that's another thing that really furthers your drive of trying to bring home the hardware for this kind of team. I mean, like
Mhm.
how, how I guess fierce really is this drive to find something really at the end of, for this program at the end of this year. Like how, together is the rest of this team at least right now. I mean, we haven't seen so many practices quite yet because we're still in this USL2 season, but how are you using this time now where you're not quite on campus, gearing up to get back up for this fall season, and then, I mean, like you're saying, shooting for that hardware.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I know who's all going to be on the team in the fall, and
Mm.
me and Andrew are always trying to connect with the guys and just
Yeah.
trying to get them excited to get here because we want to win because it's our last season to do it. And I mean, obviously, everyone I'd hope wants to win too, and you never know when your season could be the year that you're going to win.
Right. And you know what? I mean, I don't know if I would pick two other guys in the country to be able to lead a college team between you and Ang. I mean, this is our first time really talking, but I've heard a lot about, I mean, the leadership aspect of yourself and the performances that you've had on the field are things that speak for yourself. But I've heard a lot about you at least, before our conversations and hearing this from you, at least the kind of mindset that you have is only just furthering, what I've heard, but great to hear from your own mindset even too.
Yeah,
Like, and I mean, I guess even other things that I'm trying to really figure out and trying to get a better sense of this program. Like, if you were to be one of the guys who's coming in to recruit, let's say we take away your player profile for a second, and you
hmm
were someone who's trying to bring maybe a very highly touted recruit to come into this Bowling Green State program. What are the things that you're telling him and making sure that you're hitting home with this kind of club?
yeah. I would. The first thing I would say is everyone has the common goal. Everyone's on board. Everyone's on the same page. But another thing that's also really important is this school is awesome. It's safe, and the team culture that you'll have here is one of a kind.
Huge.
And it'll be the best 4 years or however many years you're playing of your life.
It's just something that I think a lot of players, yeah, even it being a safe area for you to be able to be around, where you're not worried about maybe an outside city of whatever else that they've got going on. I mean, I go to school in upstate New York, and I'm free. What I'll do sometimes, I'll just walk around I mean, whatever, I'll say it now, but yeah, I'll walk around in the middle of the night, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, and I really don't feel
Yeah.
any danger at all. And it sounds like that's something that's a huge part for you though too. Why would you mention it being a safe campus. Like that really is just something that is just a weight off your own mind.
Yeah, so I mean, Bowling Green is in a kind of a dead spot of Ohio almost. It's
Hmm.
it's 20 minutes south of Toledo, but I honestly think of it as a hidden gem, to be honest. It's a small little city, but the city is truly a college city,
Oh,
and everyone supports the school that lives around here. And
huge.
it's just obviously like it's just at night, like as you're saying, I've done those walks and there's
Hmm.
really just no one in sight, to be honest. And it's safe. And even I live downtown, and it's quiet most nights, and I love it. Everyone on the team loves it too.
Perfect. And that's the kind this is the kind of environment where you know that you're going to be able to get a clear head going into a match. And it's something
Right.
that I feel like, and again, I haven't played at the college level, so I don't fully know, what goes into this pre-match preparation for yourself. But I have to imagine that it's much easier to clear your head in Bowling Green versus New York or some of the other areas that I've been around. I mean, did that play even a little bit a part of, why you want to stick around here and just really being able to get everything out of this time with Bowling Green State?
Yeah, I mean, some of the Bowling Green guys last year, they lived here in Bowling Green for playing for Toledo Villa.
Mhm.
And sometimes we would just walk on game days around town, and it's nice, it's well kept, and it's relaxing. And but like even on game days for Bowling Green, it was just like on campus. It's just nice and to walk around, and you just feel like relaxed and ready. And I feel like that's very important going into a game, especially for me.
Absolutely. And I really don't see it any other way, at least for you being able to continue to be successful.
Yeah,
So one thing I want to mention, and feel free to push back on what this is, but I really want to get your perspective on how special that this area continues to be for you, as we've really talked about this so much. But I mean, I see a lot of players just keeping up with the college soccer news about utilizing the transfer portal and just trying to find a situation for themselves that maybe works with their skill set or for whatever reason it may be. And you're a guy that's had three fantastic years of Bowling Green and another year upcoming. I mean, what keeps you within this program? We've got some people that I'm sure find it insane to not be around a city for 4 years of school. Like, I mean, you mentioned it a lot about how special this program is and, what you would tell young people coming in. But having been 3 years fully through it, what keeps you here?
yeah. I mean, obviously, I've had a lot of success here, and like why leave if I'm having this success is my
True.
big thing. I had a conversation with my dad about, and like going back to like the coaches and the players, like Andrew, like he's in my class. We've been through this whole journey together. Like we want
Mm.
to win something together, but more importantly, we want to win for our coaches and just the school because we're all just one big team. All athletes are, and just winning here would just be awesome. It'd be a great feeling.
Huge. And it not only is it going to be a win for this team, a win for the athletic program, the university, but it's going to be a win really for the surrounding area. I mean, you talk about how like special that this really is for the community. And again, I've heard it from Shafe a million times. I want to get out at a certain point, like because I feel like I'm
Yeah.
missing out, not quite having seen it.
Hmm.
I mean, even, however far, however many times it happens, it will continue to be as special as the first one, it seems like. Even if you
Yeah.
guys were to go ahead and win 5 straight years, 5 straight conference tournaments starting this season, I think it would be just as special as every other one for this city.
Yeah. I fully agree.
How huge is that? And then,
Yeah.
I mean, even Toledo Villa as well, which I know you're spending your summer season as well, really just being around the area and keeping up with this program. What keeps you coming back to these guys as well? Because this is another successful, I guess, real club that I feel like a lot of other organizations really want to model their soccer model off of.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, when I got drafted, I really thought about where I was going to play this summer. I didn't know if I wanted to go experience something new, and I had the option to go out to Seattle and play for one of their USL teams. But so I have to take summer classes because I got to graduate on time. Or I
Right.
just want to get my degree before I leave for Seattle is what my plan is, and I think that's
Absolutely.
honestly good plan for me. I mean, I get to do classes up here and focus on soccer in Toledo, and I got a good amount of goals for Toledo, and I'm a striker, and I want to keep on scoring. I feel like that's just it's a good confidence builder for me, and you know the coaching staff at Toledoville is also amazing, and it's comfortable, but at the same time, it's teaching me how to lead and be a better player.
Absolutely. I mean, I'll tell you, as I'm talking with you, I'm surprised that you're not a pro of 5 years already. It feels like this is something that you've really thought through in terms of how you want to go about your soccer life, but also your normal life of just being a
Yeah,
student and really working out both sides and, of course, your community impact as well. So it's something that's unmatched.
yeah, I appreciate that.
Course. And I mean, I guess the last couple piece that I really want to hit on with this interview before I leave you for the rest of the season and, supporting you from afar. But, you know, in terms of your on-field play, we've talked about your shot making ability and, the goals that you've been able to score over the last 3 years. But tell me about if there have been one moment or one game, or even it could be many, if there are ones that come to mind right away where you think about your time and you look back at Bowling Green State, what are those matches and what are those moments that you think about?
I mean, honestly, I think about almost all the games, especially the ones that we win.
Right.
The obviously the MVC's final, we lost in overtime. That's something that haunts me to this day. But
Mm.
like some of the most memorable memories for me is just playing in our home field. Against Wright State, our home opener. We were down 2-0 at half, and we came back and won 3-2. And really good fan base that showed up, and it was awesome. And some of the goals I've scored on that field have just brought me so much joy to think about, and yeah,
Huge. I mean, there's a lot of them to where, it's gotten to a point where, I mean, you're not worried so much about your totals or what your own particular score sheet impact looks like, is that as long as you guys are winning these games and
right.
you're furthering that goal, that's really what matters.
Yes, absolutely.
Huge. And now, I mean, I know you guys talk about having this collective goal, but without getting so far into things that maybe I shouldn't know, because there are certain things that are sacred to you guys that stay in
Mhm.
that locker room, and I don't want to probe into that. But if you were to tell me a little bit about, or if you were to give me an insight on what really this common goal continues to end up being for you guys, how would you tell me for someone on the outside?
If I had to put it in one word, I would just say compete. Like even if we have like days off or we're hanging outside of soccer, like practice or anything, I feel
Right.
like we're always competing in something, and it's always sometimes it gets heated, but I think the competitive environment here is something I did not expect. Like it's always high, and it's fun to compete at a high level, and it's cool to if you get heated in the moment, it's cool to be able to connect with the guys after and
Yeah.
be friends and teammates again.
Right. And that goes partly back into the leadership aspect that you talked about as well, being able to bring cool heads back together to calm down certain guys that maybe, maybe they haven't been put in that that competitive environment where they can't just shut it off right away. And maybe that's a conversation or just saying that this is Bowling Green State and this is what you guys are really looking to
Yeah,
further advance every day.
yeah. I mean, from what you said, I mean, I've had a temper problem myself. Like I've had to work on it, and I wouldn't be able to work on it if it wasn't for the guys that are pushing me. And
Yeah.
like every day I get pushed by these guys and the coaching staff, and that's just another reason why I want to stay here for my last year.
I mean, it's a huge part, at least in terms of your own development, to be able to recognize those kinds of things and then to continue to work on them to where they don't get in the way of maybe um performance in some of these matches. And then,
Mm.
you know, I'm really a firm believer of being able to look forward to what this BG State program be. People even call it that BG State. I came up with that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say they could go B or Bowling Green State University or
Right.
BG. If you like from around Ohio, it's usually BG.
Yeah.
But
My New York wanting to abbreviate everything, getting in the way of you
yeah,
guys. Let me get that out of here. Um, yeah, I mean, I feel like I can't talk up enough about this program without having really seen it myself. And that's really why I'm itching to get out to some kind of. I've talked about
Oh
it with
yeah.
Gonzalo. We're gonna figure something out. But I mean, it's been a pleasure to continue to talk with you about the program, where you're coming from, your mindset with really this entire program. Like it's somewhere that I think people really need to continue to watch.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I totally agree.
Like, I mean, yeah, I'm trying to even figure out what else to even bring up. I mean, I'll be honest, Trace, I was able to bring up a lot to you of what we messaged about. I for those who don't know, I always send questions out to my boy or to my guys every time. Yeah, I'm not here to deceive anyone. And
Yeah.
I'm trying to just make sure that I'm asking the right things and everything else. But Trace, I mean, I had everything written out, and I mean, I'm all fleshed out. But if there's anything else that you want to continue talking about, I want to leave it open to you. Anything else that you want to say to young boys, young players? I mean, coming into the college program, and I'd love to give you the space to do that. But it's been a pleasure talking with you, my man.
Yeah, it really has been. I've loved it. But the one thing I'll end off by saying is for kids that are trying to pick a school, don't really look into the name and how big the school is. Really dive into the coaches obviously and the environment and the team culture. I think is huge. And Bowling Green is not very a large school, and a lot of people don't know what it is. They usually people think it's the city in Kentucky,
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean for me choosing the school is one of the most important decisions of my life. And yeah,
I mean, there's a reason that you don't see many people exiting out of Bowling Green State during this transfer portal. I think it really speaks very highly to this program, and I mean, I'll give it my endorsement as well. I mean, Bowling Green State is where I would send a young kid to go
absolutely.
out and play.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure talking with you, man. I mean, I'm looking forward to everything that's to come with you. I'm gonna keep a closer eye on Toledo Villa, and especially this fall season. I'm really genuinely looking forward to everything, and you got to support me and the rest of kickball the rest of your way.
I love it. I love it.
Of
It's
course,
been a
Trace, I
pleasure.
appreciate the time.
Yep.